Hi, everyone. So this is part 2 of the watercolor page that I'm doing from L.A. Mark's book. The cover up here, The Age of Elegance book, and I'm going to finish off this page today. That's the plan. So I'm going to be using a lot of the same colors, and I'm using the Cezanne watercolors. And this is the case it comes in. I bought on Amazon. And I'm going to be using number 1 red and number 26 pink there, green color, spring green, number 12. I can't see that so well. Hold on. Okay, I fixed it. I had the green screen settings on, so all the greens would disappear. It says number 12. And I'm going to be using this light blue, number 30. So bright blue, and then I'm using the primary blue, number 26. And I'm going back and using, like I used in the first video, number 21, Italian Earth, and number 19, Raw Umber, and number 70, Berry Color. So those are the pencils I'm going to be using today to finish the parrot and the branch and the flowers. All right, so I'm going to start with the branch using number 21 and coloring that in. I wasn't sure. I know it looks like this is a parrot. And I looked online for different looks. You know, parrots have all kinds of colors. So you could really go with any color for the parrot. I really like the idea of using light blue color, maybe mixed with some purpley berry color. The parrot. They had some parrots that looked like this kind of parrot that was all white. I didn't want to do it all white. You can use an all white, but I don't. But I would have to do a darker, or I would need a good background for it to make it look good, in my opinion. So I'd rather make the parrot colorful. Maybe just put a light background on him. I haven't decided yet what I want to do with the background. It's such a wide open space, and it would be a lot of coloring or watercolor. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with it. I might just leave it white. I haven't decided yet. Sometimes I do by drawing in something. I was thinking of trees, or I don't know what I'm going to end up doing. But for today, I'm just going to finish coloring it. So that's number 21 Italian Earth. And then on top of that, I'm going to use a darker color, the Raw Umber. Put that for the bottom half of the shading of the branch. And if I want to make certain areas darker, I may use some of the primary blue to darken that Raw Umber even more. I missed a spot here. Like that. So yeah, this is just the first layer, which is, you do multiple layers here with watercolor. I'm just doing light to medium pressure here. I also haven't decided if I'm just going to leave the flowers reddish white, leaving white in it, or I'm going to color them all in. I don't know. So many choices, so many different ways you can go with this picture, like all pictures, right? It's debating the colors that always takes me the longest, I think. All right, so I colored that all in for the first layer of watercolors. There we go. I'm just gonna activate that, starting in the light area, moving into the darker area. Keeping it moving. Okay, so we have our first light layer there for branch. But of course, this is still a little too light, so we're gonna wait for it to dry and then start working on the leaves. Now the leaves, I'm going to use the number 1 red that I used originally for the first layer of her face, 001. And I'm going to make the flowers, the center of the flowers, I'm going to make this red color. So I'm just taking it right from the pencil and dropping it there, and then quickly wiping off the pen and then blending that into the white of the paper. Trying to avoid any um, lines. Just sort of dabbing it and lifting it a little bit, wiping off the brush and just lifting it a little bit. So it's sort of the gradient there, and adding, touching the pencil again, adding a little more pigment down here so it sort of blends up softly with the water. You want the water to carry the pigment up so it looks softer. That's what I'm going for here. So it's like wet and wet. So I take the brush and sort of wet this area here with the brush and tap the pencil and then with a little bit of water there. And you see it just it spreads out in the water. And wipe off the brush and then sort of soften the ends. So I was thinking that this might be, I do flowers just like this, leaving the ends white, but she has dots around the edges. So I think I need to add another color. I might more red or a berry or something or pink. Wipe off my pen and sort of soften the ends there. There. A nice soft looking gradient. Still deciding what color I want to put on the tips there. I'll come back to that. I'll just do, I could use a light or lighter red in the tips or a darker red. Um, I don't know. Let me think about that. I'll move on to the next flower. Focus on the petals. Now, let me get that website name out of the way there. Okay. So again, I'm just going to wet the leaf, not all the way to the top, but just 3/4. Tap the pencil. The pigment at the end and let it spread out by the water. Now wipe off the brush again. Let's soften this end because we don't want a line there. We want it smoothed out. I don't know if you can hear my cat, but actually wants my attention right now. All right, next petal. Back to the other one, just add a little more red. The bottom there. Wiping off the brush again. Smushing it out. So we're softening it. You can use a little more color. This is a big petal, this one. I thought I would like it like this. I might not put anything on the end. So there's a lot of dots like shading to go on the end of the petal, but I don't really feel like I put a little too much water down. Yeah, grab some of this water. I don't know if I really feel like adding a second color. I just red and white seems to appeal to me right now. With these flowers. Needs a little more red right here. Dropping it in. Oops. Oh, oops, I just expected that. Smooth. Smooth. Oh, the ends. Don't want a harsh line. This is very dried up now. It dries so much lighter. So I'm going back again over here and adding some more red to the bottoms here. Yes, I just keep adding red until it's the saturation that you want. I have a little hole here in between the petals where the dress should be, the pink dress. So I'm going to take a little bit of the pink color, put it right here in the middle of these petals. That's where her dress is. Okay. There's actually another little hole over here I missed where the dress would be. I think the dress could be seen. I don't know. I think the dress is visible. Little details there. So I'm just putting that in. Okay. Okay, so now to the larger flower below. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to do each petal one by one with 001 red. Again, wetting it 3/4 of the way and adding straight from the pencil. Nice pigment, bright red. Wiping off the pen and then blending it. I'll just do this for each petal. you do get a line. If you wait too long to spread it out, you just go over it again with some more color and spread it out, dot it around there, and you can always fix it to a point, anyways. Just going back and adding just a little more red, make it really pigmented at the bottom of each petal. Now I think it really makes it pop. But the test is always in how it looks after it dries. Getting used to making it darker before being done. The branch is drying up. It's probably all dried up now. So as soon as I'm done with this, we'll be back on darkening the branch, shading it in, I should say, and darkening it. It's very light right now. And adding some green uh, beneath the flowers. And the camera here. See that? And one more, two more, a flower and a bud over here. And I have a little small hole here that looks like it should be the dress. So I'm getting the pink out again. And that right here. Another little missing. And not doing this. One last bud right here, and we're done with this part anyways. Okay, so there are my flowers. I think I'm just going to leave them white. I'm not going to make a, you could put another color and have it bleed back in. I don't really like it better like this, I think. So that's what I'm going with. So I looked looked for an inspiration for my bird, and I really love the colors on this little parrot, or I'm not sure what kind of bird it is, parakeet or something. But I think I'm going to be using this for just for an inspiration. I'm not going to copy it exactly. A lot of blues and some greens. But before I get to the gorgeous bird, hopefully it'll turn out gorgeous like that one. We're close to it. I'm going to finish off this branch and the buds here behind each leaf. I'm sort of wetting it first, and I'm using the spring green, which is number 12. I think I'm also going to use it on the bird. And I'm just going to start off with a light layer on top. And I don't want to use this one shade. I want to darken it, so I'm going to go back to the 001 red that I used on the flower. And I'm going to use that as the complementary color to green. So I'm going to use that to darken some areas of the bud here. If it looks too red, I just add a little more green on top. So I have a couple of different shades going here. There, maybe zoom in a little. You can see it easier. You can see it's a green with some shading, and I'll do the same with this one here. I'm just gonna wet it first. I'm gonna add the spring green straight from the pencil. I'm just gonna that's right there, the pigment, cover it all over. We're gonna have to do a couple of layers anyways, but maybe not. And then I'm going to the 001 red, tapping that, and I'm just sort of tapping it in areas where I want it shaded. If it looks a little too red, I just go back to the green and put that on top of the red. Dabbing it, tapping it in there. So then I have it darker on the bottom and lighter on the tips. Say a couple different shades there. I'm just going to be doing that with all of the buds. But I missed a little bud here, so I can do this little bud With the red. Let's zoom out a little. That's so much green. I didn't wipe it off all the way. I'm going with the red now. Over that. I don't even bother wiping it off when I switch from green to red because I'm mixing them together on the page. And then I wipe off my brush when I'm ready to lift up some of it. Add one color over the other. Okay, going back to the first one. It's all very light now. It's dried up, so I'm going to go over it again with another pigmented green and directly to the red. If you put too much on, you just lift it up, wipe off your brush, lift it up again wherever is too much. Or if it's too red, add some more green. And just keep going back and forth until you get the color you want. Oops. This is just a little bit there. And go back to the other ones that have started drying already. That'll touch more color. And I think this is the last bud over here. I already have some green on there, so I'm just adding it on a little more. And a little red. Okay. Right. So all of the flowers and the buds colored now. I'm going to go back to putting a shadow on the branch now. The branch looks good, but it's the light highlight color right now. I got to darken that up a little bit. So again, we can go back to the raw umber, which is 19. If I want it even darker, I can go to the primary blue, which is number 26. So I'm going to, this time it's going to take the color directly from the pencil to the raw umber and just push it right onto the bottom of the branch, wiping my brush and then smoothing the ends so there's not a strong line. Under the parrot's feet, maybe a little bit of a shade there as well, or his claws, whatever you call them. There's extra shading around where the flowers are, so I may bring the blue in there later. Shade it even more. Okay, so I'm going to take out a little bit of the blue, the primary blue. Again, number 26, and right around the edges of the flower. I'm going to drop some of that blue. If it's too blue, I'm going to add some more raw umber from that to blend with it. The raw umber and the blue will make it very dark brown or gray, dark gray. Just add a little darker under the branch. So I'm going back to the blue a little bit and just getting a bit darker. And blend it out a little bit. I'm just going back to the raw umber, adding another, just sort of smoothing out that shaded layer so it looks gradual. Oops, a little too much down there. For a nice gradual gradient. I should say not gradual, a gradient. Just the highlight on top a little bit. Lift that up. A gradual gradients. Now, one last piece of the flower is the inside. I'm going to use the berry number 70, 70. I'm just going to go ahead and put a light layer on there. There's only 2 of those to fill. And I'll just add a little more shading to it by adding a little extra pigment on one side. Give it a little two-dimensional look there. Okay, and I think I'm pretty much done with the branch and the flowers now. Now we're going to get to the bird and see what we can make of this bird. All right, so I think the wings, I'm going to start I'm just going to cover them with some water and put drops. I'm going to make it sort of random, kind of. I want some white to stay out, some highlights. It's going to sort of make his wings and his whole body look multicolored. And I've also got the light blue out, the bright blue, which is number 30. So I'm putting this on top of already wet the I already wet his wing, so it's going to dry very lightly, with the water and the pigment, and for most of it will anyways. Just build up on that. I think these colors work well together. This light blue, and I also have the violet, blue violet color. If I want darker, I kind of like him light blue and green. I can go back to the green over here, and some light blue. And then with his tail here, I'm also going to make it multicolored. I'm wetting it down with water and getting that green in there. And blue. I think I will take out the blue violet. This is number 26. And I'll use that for the darkest areas. I'm going to put a little bit of this pretty purple in. And back here and just put in some areas of purple. Sort of going back and forth with these colors. It's all colored in. If I use too much there, put a little too much, just wipe off my brush and then lift it up. Yeah, I kind of like that look. So now for his body, I'm going to make it more bluish. I'm going to wet his whole body here, putting a lot of water down, big squeeze of water there. Not the beak, but the body, not the eye, not the head. And it's going to move that water around. Get it all covered. I'm going to look sideways at it in the light so you can see where the water is. Try to, anyways. It's kind of tough with this paper. The paper absorbs the water right away, so it's kind of hard to see. But I'm going to go in again like I did with that, and I take the blue, spread that around real quick. Since already the paper like absorbs it right away. Yeah, move quickly. I'll get that spread out. So it makes it difficult to cover a wide area. you're dealing with paper. I mean, it's good paper, but it's not watercolor paper, so it's chancy, putting in maybe a wide wash here. I get the purple out now, and I'm going to do the darker areas. Oops, a little bit there. A little purple there, a little purple there. Let's give them a couple of different tones. Down here, make them a little purple, more purpley. Okay, and I think on his beak, I think I'm going to take out the Italian earth I was using because the light color. I want to make his beak like a yellow color, so I'm just covering it with the light coverage of the Italian earth, number 21. And then under the darker part of the beak, I'm going to use the raw umber again that I used on the branch, number 19. I'm just going to put some shading underneath it. And for the feathers on his head, I think I will use should I make them green? I think I'll make them green. I'm gonna put along, sort of dampening it a little bit and then getting the green out. I like this green, the spring green color. Yeah, so I'm just gonna make his feathers on top green color. It'll blend in from green to white. If I change my mind, I could add another color at the end. I just wanna see how it looks just green and white first. I want to add some more shading over here. So I'm going to take a little bit more of the blue. This is the bright blue that I used on his body, and I'm just going to shade it just a little bit next to here. Be a little darker there. Smooth that out. A little more blue on top of the purple. So I'm mixing the bright blue on top of where I put purple. It gives a really nice bluish purpley color. It's very pretty. Darker under there. Add a little more green, a little more colorful. There, he's looking really pretty. I could stop right there. Add a little more color to him. Such pretty colors. Cezanne colors are so pretty. Like the watercolors, I really enjoy using their watercolors. I'm not just saying that. I'm not trying to sell it. I don't get paid anything. The colors do. They're not too strong, but they're not too weak. Like just right. The blue here, blue here and there. Yeah, I might make it a little bit darker, add a little more pigment down here. And just keep adding until you're happy with the level of pigment that you have. I did get a little bit of a line here. Oops, not dry yet. Let me wait for it to dry before I get too worried about it. I am going to my primary blue. What's my primary blue? My 6. Is that it? Oh, this is my ultramarine violet. It's 26. I can just use that, I guess. I'll put a little shadowing around his eye. He's got a little white area of the eye for the reflection. I was going to put very light for a shadow on his eyelid and then coloring in his iris with the medium pressure violet. I'm giving him violet eyes. And I'm going to add a little more color to his feathers on his head. Add a little more green there. And then for his feet, I'm going to make his feet the number 21 Italian Earth. I'm about to get his color. His feet here. His beak is dry now. I might put a little bit more under the beak here, that a little darker, and on the sides, get a little shading there. A little layer, and we'll do his toes here. And make his claws over here. Now, underneath where I can put that with the pencil right down, I'll get a nice dark line from the pencil there. Under the eyelid a little. While it's still wet, you'll get a nice dark line there. And I'm just going to do his claws. That's the raw umber. Oops, that's it. Because I'm shading under the claws, the shadow. Okay, let's go over that. There, and I think I am pretty much done with my page here. Yeah, I'm not going to bother filling in the background because I think it'll just get um, too splotchy. But with the watercolor, anyways, you could do it if you did it little by little sections, but I'm not going to. But so it's still drying. I'm gonna wait and see that dries and see if we might put more because I a little bit of a streak there that got absorbed, like too much color here. But I mean, it kind of looks okay. But I could add a little more color in there. I want to blend that in so it doesn't have just a line there. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.